Hello, fight fans. Seattle Mike fights with friends. Everybody, please hit that like button or I will double stomp your knee. Make sure you're subscribed and don't forget to double tap that notification bell so you're notified whenever I drop a new video or go live, like basically every weekend for every fight weekend, and new thanks to YouTube, SuperThanks. So if there's a particular video that you like, you want to see more of that kind of video, something like that, you can actually send a super thanks. It's similar to a super chat. There's a little button to the right of the like and share button, and you can donate between $2 and $50 to help the channel going. Today I want to talk a little bit about how I got into fighting, why I got into fighting. And I think a lot of you are going to have a similar story. And there's a reason that I say when I got into fighting and not when I got into martial arts. Because it wasn't for sport, it wasn't for fun, it wasn't for club. It was because I felt like I needed to know how to fight to survive. Because of the neighborhood that I grew up in, because of the situation that we were in. And I know some of you are going to have similar stories. Some of you that are fight fans, are fighters, is drawn to fighting. So I grew up, some of you have probably heard me talk about it on the podcast, about 3 blocks from the state penitentiary, Washington State Penitentiary, where the worst criminals in the state are there. I mean, they've had several executions there just when I was in high school. You're talking about murderers, actual serial killers, rapists. I mean, the worst of the worst. So I went to school and lived around these people's kids. That was the neighborhood kids. That was a lot of my classmates. Grew up in those kinds of environments, and they were very violent children, as you could imagine. I mean, I remember getting knocked out unconscious when I was 6 years old by a guy in, I think he was probably around middle school, but he was an African-American kid, big athletic kid. Seemed like a really big athletic kid to me. I mean, he was, like full size, came into my backyard. He said something, I said something to him, comes into my backyard and hits me with an uppercut and literally knocks me unconscious. Then, we continued to just run into situations, me and my friends, where I would go to see my friends and you would get jumped. There would be people waiting for you. You'd throw a stick in your bike spokes. You guys get the picture. Lots of fights in school and bullying and lots of things like that. So I felt like I really didn't have an option but to learn how to fight. I didn't have an older brother or older male cousin or anything like that to help me out. So I felt like, hey, this is pretty much me. And I started to compete a little bit in some of the local, I don't know if you want to call it fight clubs. There was some kind of, now I look back at it, probably sick adults that were running some of these little fight clubs where, they would have kids 10 to 14 probably fighting each other. And you didn't always volunteer for that. Sometimes they would just grab you. You might go and visit a friend and think you're okay, and they're going to grab you, throw you in the middle of the circle, and you're going to fight. And if you start stepping out, there's all these kids around you. You guys have seen movies like this, I'm sure. And they're going to hit you if you start trying to get away. They're going to grab you. So sometimes you had no option there. I remember looking at my dad, though, growing up, a big, tall, strong guy, an iron worker, and thinking, if things really hit the fan, dad's got things under control. He was, a big, tough guy, very stern guy. He was very big on discipline growing up. And I was thinking, man, if, nobody wants to mess with him. Nobody wants to mess with us because they're going to go through him if it, gets real serious. And then I remember we were living in this crappy trailer park, which I lived in from fourth grade until the time I moved out on my own. And the owner was a cocaine dealer. And he had just gotten out of prison. And my younger brother happened to be friends with the guy's kids. He was right across uh, the way, right across the little street there in the trailer park from us. And my little brother, at the time, I want to say he was probably 8 years old, somewhere around there, goes over and knocks on the door looking for this kid. Well, this druggie was sleeping like late or in the middle of the afternoon, because I know it wasn't early morning. Anyways, whatever happens, my brother went over there, and apparently this guy got pissed off and slapped him. And my brother had a big welt across his face. I want to say he had like a bloody nose or something. I some of the memories a little blurry on this, but he came home, kind of told us the story, and I'm thinking, oh, Dad's gonna go over and he's gonna beat the shit out of that guy, and that's just how it's got to be. Go get him, Dad. And I could see my dad's hands were tied, and he wasn't going to do anything. He didn't say a whole lot about the thing, and just I think I do remember him saying something kind of like, "Yeah, not a whole lot I can do. He can kick us out of here." And that's when I really freaked out. I thought, "Oh no, oh no." I'm probably about 14, 15 at this time. So my brother might have been just even a little bit younger. He was 8 or younger. And I thought, I have got to learn how to fight, because I'm walking out here completely unguarded. We got no chance. The one person, the guy that I thought had my back, uh, my dad had our back if things really went down. This guy just smacked my brother up. He's a drug dealer, and my dad's not going to do anything about it. So that really freaked me out. So some of my friends, we started watching a lot of martial arts movies, and then not just the movies, we started renting old Muay Thai videos, boxing videos, anything we could get our hands on at the time. That was like VHS and things like this, and some of this is even pre-UFC, so Black Belt magazine, things like this, and we're literally just training in each other's yards. We're filling up bags, duffel bags, making our own punching bags. You fill up a duffel bag and you throw a bunch of clothes or whatever that you can find laying around, sometimes literally garbage from the neighborhood, at some of my friends' houses, and we would just start hitting the bag, start watching these videos. And then we really thought it was awesome when one of my friends, he had like an uncle like figure, friend of the family. He moved in and started renting the upstairs of their house from him, and he had been a professional boxer, and that was a game changer. So that was awesome. Then I really started to get some confidence. I really started to make sure everybody knew, because I didn't really want to get in fights. Sometimes I did, but I didn't want to get punched in the face. I just wanted to stop getting bullied. So I wanted to make it really well known. Hey, I'm training with this professional boxer. Everybody should know this. Don't mess with me. And then kept on getting in fights, and until we had judo as part of our high school. It was actually a sport at our high school, and that was the biggest game changer. One fight in the cafeteria. I think it was the third fight, my freshman year of high school. But this one would be the last one I needed. And it's good because they told me if I got another fight, I would be expelled. But one kid just kept on pushing. He kept on pushing me, and ended up throwing him over a table and just beating him up pretty good in front of half the school, because we had the school there, freshman high school year. There was 2 lunch periods, 2,000 student school. So you probably had 500 kids in the lunch period, and people were talking about it and stuff. And I really didn't have a whole lot of problems after that. Like I said, it was a good thing because the vice principal and the principal called me in later, and we're sitting and talking, and they said, well, how many fights have you been in? Is this like a regular thing when you were in middle school? Have you been in a lot of fights? I said, well, I don't think I get in a lot of fights, and like 3 a year in middle school. And they're like, wait, like 3 in middle school or 3 every year? I said, yeah, probably like 3 fights a year on average. So they said, if you get in one more fight, you're going to be expelled, and this is the beginning of zero tolerance. So they're telling us, even if you get attacked, you're going to be in trouble. And I did end up having 2 incidences that that vice principal that had wanted to expel me actually stood up for me, because I was literally, legitimately attacked at this school. That's just, it was that kind of school. It was that violent. And one of them, was 2 cousins. And I was really worried about this because I'm like, I'm going to get beat up. I'm going to get embarrassed. I could definitely get hurt, but I felt like I couldn't fight back. They're both trying to punch me. And, I knew a little bit of how to control the head and arm at that time. So uh, both these guys are trying to punch me. And literally, I grab one around the neck and I have him in a headlock. And the other one comes forward. I do the same. And somehow they both just kind of landed into it. My shop teacher comes, and these guys are trying to punch me in the body, and I'm just holding them like this in headlocks. And first thing I said, when he came up and let him go, I said, I didn't do anything. I said, they were trying to hit me. I said, I didn't do anything. Please don't expel me. And he said, I know. I don't. Somebody must have told him something, because he said, I know. And, luckily I didn't get expelled. Those guys tried to jump me outside of the school after that. But, problems were much, much less after I learned how to fight. But like I said, I felt like I needed uh, to learn how to fight, because just going to a friend's house, just going to get the groceries or whatever, you never know when you were gonna get jumped. And me and my friends, we were stupid. Admittedly, we were dumb. We like to hang out, especially in the summer. We might be out at 2 o'clock in the morning in the bad part of the neighborhood, because there was a 24-hour donut shop, and we thought it'd be fun to ride our bikes around and go to the donut shop and get peanut butter and chocolate donuts, which was my favorite back then. And we got jumped outside the Blockbuster Video. It was about 2 o'clock in the morning. We were witnessing what we're pretty sure ended up being a robbery. And there was a big group of gangsters surrounding this couple. And at the time, we didn't know what was going on, but we were laughing out loud from like across the street. We were really laughing at something, something that I don't know how funny it was. I don't even remember what it was we were laughing at. But these guys think we're laughing at them, and all of a sudden they turn their attention from these 2. And we got a minimum of 15 guys, and I'm not exaggerating, a minimum of 15 guys start to chase us, and we're running zigzag and jumping over fences and things. We finally get to my friend's house where I was staying the night at. Stayed over there a lot during high school, and we thought, oh, we got away from him. And then we about crapped our pants again. When it's about 10 minutes later, they have one. He's in the upstairs apartment, and they have one of those call-up intercoms, and somebody gets on the intercom and starts calling, we're here to get you, we're coming to get you, starts banging on the door. For some reason, they left. Maybe they were guessing. They weren't sure exactly where we went, but they thought it might have been there. So they didn't come back. But that was a close call. It wasn't always a close call. But like I said, I felt like I had to learn how to fight. I don't know. I don't know what would happen if I wouldn't have learned how to fight. There was some guys that got beat up, some kids that got beat up that I knew really, really bad. in that area, and it was an unfortunate situation, but it turned me into who I am. It made me a fighter, physically and emotionally sometimes, unfortunately. So for a long time, I would lash out at people. I would get super defensive. It's still something sometimes I have to back up and that I struggle with, and especially if somebody says something to me or slights me, it's like I want to come at them full force. It's like, no, you're not gonna get anything on me. You're not gonna get one fucking inch. But then I have to tell myself, this isn't war. This isn't a fight in the street. This guy said your shoes were ugly or something, something dumb like that, or he thought that he just didn't think that you made a very intelligent business deal or something at work, and I'm ready to, throw hands with this person, and kind of frowned upon in society, most places as an adult once you get out of those rougher areas. But I want to know. I want to know what your guys' experience are. What got you into fighting? And this is your chance to tell me, what's some of the craziest stories that you might have had in your neighborhood, or craziest street fight that you got into or witnessed, or something like that. Let me know down there in the comments. And this will give you some time. The next time we have call-ins on our live chat, I want to have a moment where you guys can call in and talk about those craziest situations from when you're growing up. Because we can laugh about it now. We might not have been laughing about it back in the day because it was very dangerous. But, we can look back on it now and think, wow, that was wild. That's crazy that happened. But, give me your thoughts on that. What you got you into fighting. Hopefully it was a safer path than what some of the rest of us went through to get there. Maybe, you just really liked fighting or watched boxing with your dad, something like that. Looking forward to those comments. As always, I love you, I respect you, and I'll see your fine asses next time.